let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer, spring is in the air. It's opening day at Keeneland, and race number 8 is a graded stake with minor Kentucky Oaks qualifying points. Let's throw up the field for the Beaumont. We're going about 7 furlongs on a bid course. 2-1 on the morning line on the 2 Slumber Party, a very impressive debut winner.
Yeah, ran really well first time out this horse back in January at Gulfstream. Earned a figure for that race. We'll see how she does stepping up in class.
Let's throw up the Timeform U.S. pace projector for this race. Slumber Party went flagfall to finish in her career debut. She might face some pace pressure from the returning number 1 My Girl Red, and also the 720 Carat has shown a lot of speed on synthetic. 20 Carat's outside post position gives her rider the choice to sit off the pace if need be.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder how they'll actually play that. We'll see what they decide to do. I guess if the pace is fast, maybe they'll try to take a seat. Certainly in her last race day, they could have just cleared off, but they didn't do that. They let a horse come up to her inside and just sort of maybe taught her a little bit of a lesson about rating. So we'll see what they do.
The number 1 My Girl Red did some really nice things as an early 2-year-old last year in Southern California for Keith DeZormo. She won her first 2 starts easily, including the Grade 2 Sorrento, and then she was just hammered leaving the gate in the Del Mar debutante and was pulled up. She was going to run in the Chandelier, her first start around 2 turns. She came up with an ankle injury. It's a long layoff for My Girl Red, but she showed some things last year.
Yeah, she sure did. I mean, I actually really liked her debut, Dan. She was pretty sharp in winning that 4.5 furlong race. Her Sorrento was fine. I got to be honest, that was a very, very weak field. I didn't think she ran as well in the Sorrento as she did first time. I will see what she does off the layoff.
Let's watch Slumber Party's career debut, an 86 buyer for this daughter of Malibu Moon, and she just opened up on the turn and is basically ridden out to the finish by Joel Rosario. And the number of this race, I thought, was validated when the runner-up came back to graduate with an 86 buyer speed figure. She's fast. She gets tested for class, but this is how you like to see them win.
Yeah, I mean, she really did run really well first time out. I mean, it can be a little hard to gauge them because they just never really got near her. She never had to face a challenge in there because she was just too fast for that field. But it did come back with a figure. It was also over 7 furlongs, which is not an easy thing to do. I just thought she looked really good winning first out.
Farsighted, the number 3, a daughter of Bernardini, is already stakes placed at Keeneland, and she got the ball rolling in her seasonal debut at Gulfstream over wet going. Let's watch that race. The Any Limit Stakes going 3/4 of a mile, where she got up close to a nice moderate pace, took over, and drew out for a 78 buyer speed figure. Pace is likely to be a lot faster this time around, but I have a feeling she might be able to sit a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they sit off the pace a little bit here. We'll see how that works out for her. I'm not going to knock this performance. She won it very easily with a really good trip. I felt the same way about her breaking her maiden, Dan, where she just got a really good trip and was too good for them. One time they tested her sprinting on dirt. I guess she was fine in the song, but I don't know what you thought about that race. I didn't love it. There was like no closing going on in there, and she was really no match for Joyce Rocket.
Yeah, that was a strange race where it seemed like the speeds dominated that race and perhaps most of the day at Keeneland. She worked hard to get into position from the outside post, but you're right, there wasn't a lot of closing. Maybe the track was in her favor. Amalfi Princess is the 4. I liked her win at Churchill Downs to close out her 2-year-old campaign. She got up close to a solid pace and drew out, and then she ran on turf in her seasonal debut for Mike Maker. Let's watch that race. I think it was a good learning experience for her. She was the beaten favorite, but she's going to try to rally from out of it. She drops to the inside. She fires late.
Yeah, I thought she ran okay in this race too, switching back to the turf course. It seems like she's fine on either turf or dirt, Dan. She ran well in here. I agree with you. I liked her win at Churchill at the end of last year. I also liked the only other dirt start for her, which came on a sloppy track. I thought she ran well that day at Aqueduct.
I always like turnbacks at 7 furlongs, and Lady Travener cuts back from a 9 furlong turf race. Now, let's go back to her start 2 back. The Grade 3 Forward Gal at 7/8 of a mile, her first start of the year. The big favorite, Zagel, is going to win this race, and Lady Traveler's just kind of clunk along and get a piece to finish second. She's going to have to improve from a speed figure standpoint, but she might get the right setup, and again, she is cutting back and switching back to her best surface.
True enough. I mean, a fast pace would probably help her, perhaps more than anybody else in the race, Dan. I just wish that there was one race that she'd run up to this point that I actually, really like. I don't like the Forward Gal at all. I didn't think she ran well in there. And, you go through, she's already run on dirt 5 times. Where's her fast race?
Scylla, the number 6, is a daughter of California Chrome. She was grade 1 placed in the Frisette when beaten a country mile by Day Out of the Office and Vequist. She beat Louisiana breds last time out in relatively slow time. This is a big step up in class.
Yeah, another one just doesn't have that fast race you can point to. She has won each of the last 2 times they sprinted her on dirt, but they're stepping her up here.
20 Carat completes the field for Wesley Ward and Luis Saez. She hasn't been headed in 2 starts, although she was disqualified from her career debut. Now, both of those races came over the synthetic track at Turfway, but she has, I think, more than enough dirt pedigree. Her full sister, Mystic Knight, just popped a 99 buyer up in New York in March.
Yeah, that horse has won 2 in a row on dirt, so you don't feel like the switching of surfaces here is going to be a problem for this horse, Dan. She's interesting in here, especially with the outside draw, given Saez some options. I thought she ran pretty well last time. That was probably a weak field, but she won that race very easily.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Grade 3 Beaumont Stakes. Slumber Party gets the class test. You think she passes?
Yeah, you know what, Dan, I just didn't really love the alternatives in this race. I have the 2 favorites, 1, 2 in my picks here. I just didn't like the options.
I want to give Farsighted a little bit of a chance because I believe she has the capability to sit perhaps just off of the early lead. I think the 1, 2, and the 7 are going to go. Farsighted can sit third. Maybe she can take the necessary step forward in her second start of the form cycle.
I don't disagree with that. A good trip could be coming for her. She does feel like the one, Dan. I mean, I would say that at 4-1, as the morning line has her, that's probably a fair price.
2-7, 3-4 for Mike, 3-2, 7-4 for me. Same super different order in the Grade 3 Beaumont on opening day Friday at Keeneland. Good luck.